Welcome back. This video is about relationships and money. Most specifically, how to deal with the financial stress that can tear a relationship apart. And what I mean by relationships, it could be family, friendships, romantic relationships, marriages, it doesn't matter. This is universal. So I'm remaking this video because the first video I did on this received such an overwhelming response that they wanted more detail, so I'm going to go really deep into this one. And so if you're having this issue right now, pay close attention, because I'm going to be pulling from all sorts of sources to help you avoid these mistakes. So there's two unexpected events that we don't plan for in our lives that will cost you the most. The first one being a unexpected accident or illness, such as cancer. You end up in the hospital for 2 months, surgery. You don't plan for these type of things, but they can devastate any finances. And the other one is usually divorce. When the dividing of property happens, the lawyer fees, the onward battles, it's just money, money, money everywhere you go. So this is about how to avoid getting to some of these points in the first place. So in a relationship, whether it's romantic, friendship, family, your state of being matters a lot. And what do I mean by your state of being? You've heard the term, well, I don't like their vibe. Basically, people automatically pick up on other people's emotions. This may seem a little out there, but it is absolutely true. Remember back to when some angry person walked into the room, or you walked into the room and immediately you started to notice people. I mean, what brought your attention to them in the first place? Most of the time you hear is like, I don't like that guy's vibe. I don't, he's kind of creepy. Where are you getting this from? What are you basing this off of? Well, you're basing it off of how you feel. And so you are picking up on other people's emotions. This might seem kind of esoteric, but this is actually very common. And so when it comes to money, think about it. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You're in a romantic relationship, maybe a marriage even. You could be together for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And it's like, it may have been going good for a long time, and you hit a really hard, rough spot. I mean, when it comes to stresses, money's a little bit different than a lot of other ones, because if I go and I trip on a rock and I fall down and hit my cheek and I'm cut, ouch, that hurt. But it's over. I can be like, all right, I'm gonna get better. I'll clean it up, and no big deal. I'll take care of it, and you consider it done basically. As you enter the healing process. But with money, it's almost always an ongoing issue, and there's very few stresses, if any, that are more serious than financial stress. Because think about when you're wondering, like, oh man, am I gonna be able to pay rent next month? Am I gonna end up homeless? What will my friends think about me? What does my wife think about me? What does my husband think about me? You feel low, like you're not worthy anymore, and people pick up on each other's emotions. If you are stressing all the time, they will know, especially in a romantic relationship. I mean, you spend a lot of time with this person anyway. They're going to notice. And while they're going to be sympathetic at first, there's limits to what people will, kind of tolerate. And they don't even really think about this type of stuff. It just kind of happens. Think of it like everyone's got a bucket. And as you fill that bucket with stress, eventually it's going to overflow. When it begins to overflow, what do? It's like, what does the mind do? Well, it's trying to let off stress. It's trying to let off steam. It needs to get the stress down. The human body is an adaptable organism, and so is your mind. It's in a state of stress. It wants to reduce it, so it's going to let it out. Like the engineers at a dam, when that water gets really high, they start opening the floodgates a little bit at first in order to let out the water, let out the pressure, so that they don't have a catastrophe. Now your mind and body are going to do this anyway, and when it starts to do this, it's going to do it without regard to others. I mean, we're talking about like when the stuff's going on for a long time and you really can't take it anymore. You're stressing, you're worrying all the time, and it's like, who's going to get the brunt of your stress? Well, the person closest to you will. right now you're feeling pretty vulnerable. Money makes you feel like you're not worthy when you don't have it, and it's an ongoing issue. You're wondering like what everyone's thinking about you. If you end up homeless, there's big stigma attached to that one. You don't want anyone to notice that. You don't even want anyone to even know that you're doing anything but okay. So you're working really hard at covering it up, but at the same time you're also worrying night and day. So to get that under control, first remember that money is just a physical byproduct of value. There's more money printed every day than you can ever spend in your lifetime. So focus in on what made this situation happen and put steps in place to get out of it. Now, as far as your romantic partner goes, you need to remember that there are 5 love languages, and there's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and all they refer to is basically 5 different methods that people express affection to each other. And this can be in all regards, from romantic to family to whatever. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation. This is like telling someone, I really like you, I care about you, I love you. Quality time is number 2. You're taking a nice romantic walk on the beach, you're walking in the park, hey, let's get it together for lunch, let's hang out. That's quality time. The third one is gifts, receiving gifts more specifically. And this is a kind of a rare one, but if someone is in this category, you definitely don't want to miss giving them a gift on their birthday or anniversary or anything else. You're going to know, when you mess up this one. The fourth one is acts of service. Acts of service is about, actions speak louder than words. So an act of service could be, I work all day long and I go the extra mile to put food on the table. That's an act of service. I went ahead and did your laundry for you. That's an act of service. That's how someone will express their affection for another person, by doing things for them. The last one is physical touch. And that's pretty much exactly how it sounds. Physical touch, a hug, a handshake, much, much more. So, bring it back to what matters. You're stressing about money. The hallmark and foundation of any relationship is communication. Talk it over. Talk to your partner. Express yourself genuinely, and remember, in any type of argument, you need to focus on the issue, not the person. And if the person is not as aware as you, not as educated as you, keep bringing the issue back to the issue. Stop. If they bring it to the person, deflect it. Just throw it off. It doesn't matter. Bring it back to the issue. Eventually it'll stick. Because it's the issue, not them, not you. Communication, no long-term relationship is going to last without communication. Once that initial bubble love phase wears off, the big bliss phase wears off, what's going to keep people together is their ability to interact with each other, to truly care about each other, and to express themselves to each other. So use the 5 love languages. If your partner's stressing like crazy, if you're stressing like crazy, express yourself to your partner while you're dealing with the money situation itself. Drop your problems for a little while. Go to your partner. Talk to them. It doesn't have to be serious talk. Remember why you're in this in the first place. Bring some silliness back. Bring some compassion back. If they're into physical touch, give them physical touch. It doesn't have to be like, maybe I got 2 minutes before I have to run out to work. Give them a hug, if that's their love language. If their love language is words of affirmation, then make sure you tell them you love them. It'll go a long, long way to keeping things solid. Because when the stress is high, especially with money, people are wondering about their own value and wondering why they're even in this in the first place. More specifically, why the other person even cares about them when they're starting to question their own value. So you need to remind them that you're in this for more than just money. And if you can't speak to them, for instance, if for whatever reason you just don't desire speaking to them, what are you in this for? Why are you in this anyway? If you can't speak to another person, if you don't even like hanging out with them, what are you doing? Why are you in a relationship? Is it for money? Is it for some kind of status? If those are the reasons, you know, maybe you should start re-looking at the whole thing in general. But if you're in it for the real reasons, you're in it for companionship, you're in it for love, you're in it because you truly care about another person, and they truly care about you, make sure you express it to them in a way that they can understand. If your language is acts of service, but theirs is physical touch, you can go out there and fix their car, you can go out there and do their laundry, you can do all these things for them, but they don't understand it. You two are speaking different languages. So just like I can go up and start talking to a Chinese person and they don't speak English, so they're just going to look at me and kind of nod their head like, I don't know what he's talking about. You know, I have no idea. Like, and they'll talk back to me in Chinese and I have no idea what they're talking about. So you need to express yourself in a way that they can understand. And similarly, make sure they understand what's important to you. This is about communication. Get the money under control, but at the same time, you know, salvage the relationship by focusing your two's attention on what really matters. You are in it together. You're not in it separately. No matter what way you feel at the moment, bring it back to a way they can understand it. Don't, if their love language is physical touch again, don't come in with an act of service, come in with physical touch. And similarly, you know, if they think physical touch is, you know, that's the way they express themselves, make sure they understand that you more value it when they perform acts of service to you. Even a card or a rose laying on the bed can go a long way to you know, bridging this gap. Because the communication is what's going to get you through the hard times. And everyone's got hard times. Deal with the money, and just remember, money is just a physical object. Money is just an expression of value. Money is not your worth. Your worth is based on what you think it is. And what you believe your worth is to be is the truth. Don't let another person tell you that you're not worthy because you don't have money. That's bogus. They'll try. Don't let it happen. And make sure your partner also understands that you value them. Whether they have money or don't have money, you value them, and use the language that they understand to communicate that. Bridge the gaps, solve the issues, and keep going for those remarkable 60-year marriages, 60-year relationships. Be an exception rather than a statistic. I hope this helped people out there. If you apply the 5 love languages, you absolutely will bridge the gap. Get the money under control. You can use my budgeting system that I explained in another video to get that under control. And you can use this to get the relationship under control. So, have a wonderful day, and keep at it, guys. You can do it.